Hello, my name's Rob and welcome to Swift Slots. And welcome to this week's Swift Slots mail call. So this is a summary of the items that I've had delivered to me in the post this week for viewing on this channel or for making in later projects. So let's get you on the bench and show you them one by one. Now, not really a mail call, but I had a birthday recently and my family bought me this Batmobile. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the biggest Batman fan, but as a child of the 70s and growing up with the Adam West Batmobile and having acquired the Skeletrix Batmobile of that particular car, I've got a kind of appreciation for some of the Batmobiles. So when this one came along though, I wasn't entirely convinced by it because I first saw it as a Hot Wheels and I thought, it's just like a muscle car clone, not a lot of imagination going on there, and I passed it by. I ended up having to buy this one back on eBay for a little bit more money because I'd left it too long and these aren't in the shops anymore, but oh well. So I started getting a little bit of curiosity about this car and and ahhing about it because I got a couple of other Batmobiles, and then I went to Gaydon 2024 and I saw this particular car on the Skeletrix stand as a pre-production sample, and oh my, did it turn a corner. Absolutely changes its whole persona in real life. I don't suppose it's coming across on this video because it didn't come across on any of the videos or any of the internet things that I'd seen before I acquired this car or saw it in real life. But in real life, it's got a heft and a presence and a volume to it that does not translate on the internet. It just doesn't. And I don't suppose it's going to come across in this video either. But it's an absolutely fantastic car in your hand. The actual engine detail is fantastic. It really is a nice thing, and the little Batman in there is really smart. Very well done. The Skeletrix figures now, the images of the figures that you're getting these days are so accurate. They're such a joy to look at. They're so accurate and nicely done. They're really good. So this car goes around the track extremely nicely. It's quite heavy and it's very wide, and the back tyres aren't the grippiest. They're okay, but they're not the grippiest. Remember, I go around Crow Valley without a magnet, so with a magnet this will change, but without a magnet they're not the grippiest. So this car went around Crow Valley in 73 seconds, which sounds incredibly slow, but the thing is, it's only slow because it's quite heavy, so it doesn't brake too well. And it also carries quite a lot of momentum in the corner. It's relatively short wheelbase and very wide. So you have to drive this car with a certain amount of holdback, I guess you would say. You've got to drive it a little bit reserved because she'll run away with you if you give it too much speed because the weight carries into the corner. And with slightly non-grippy tyres for a non-magnet run and a very wide car, kind of sets the scene for disaster if you push it too hard. But it's an absolute joy to drive around Crow Valley. It really is. You drive your way around the track as opposed to just thrash your way around as a blur. But you actually get to see this car and you see it sliding and you see it driving around, and it's very smooth and it's very quiet. It's absolutely joyous to drive. It looks fantastic going around the track. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I really like it. And soon enough, I'm going to be doing a small video on the slot car Batmobiles that I've got. And this car will obviously feature in that. And I'll go into this particular car in a little bit more detail with all the other Batmobiles that I've got. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a curveball for everybody. But I went into the toy shop about 4 days before my birthday. And I said to my missus, oh my, I absolutely love this Princess Peach motorbike. I couldn't put it down. It was in my hand for a good 10 minutes and the missus said, well, it's your birthday soon. We'll pick it up for you from the kids or whatever and you can have it for your birthday if you really want it. And I couldn't, in all honesty, put it down. This is going to be a little bit of a curveball for everybody watching this channel, I'm absolutely sure. But I doubt that this will also come through on the phone either because it's a bit of a weird one. So I've already opened up this packet and I'll just open it up again. But what caught my eye was the fact that it is going to turn itself into a slot car incredibly well. So here is the motorbike itself. Now I know it's a bit strange, bear with me. But if I lock up that front wheel and I put a guide in the front wheel, bring the wires through the tyre, through the bulkhead, I cut away this piece of plastic here because this has all been friction welded so I can't get it apart, I've already checked. So I can cut the bottom of that out. And this is already a set of tyres and a set of an axle. So this is already halfway to being a slot car, in as much as I've got wheels and axle and everything else. Now, there's a friction set in there, so you can actually run it like that. If you run it backwards and then run it forwards, it runs. So I've already got the axle. Now I've got a spare Carrera Go car, which I don't want to do anything with that body, and I bought it for the internals. So there's plenty of width there to get a Carrera Go motor inside there. There's plenty of room on there for a guide. It's already got turning wheels, the front one doesn't want to turn, but the back one can turn. It's already got the rubber wheels there. And then you've got this really cool Princess Peach figure. Again, I don't know if it's coming through on the screen here, but she's really nicely detailed with a nice little clear visor underneath her helmet. And she's all articulated, so I can get her to really hunker down on this motorbike. Guide, motor, and get her going round Crow Valley in a kind of cartoon style. And I think that this will be a really cool but extremely oddball slot car. And to be honest with you, I'm quite looking forward to turning this into a slot car. I think it's going to be quite different. So maybe, hopefully, you'll stick with me for the building of that one. But I appreciate it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. So, we had a new member at our slot car club the other day. His name is Phil. And I met Phil outside of our village hall. And he obviously knew me from this YouTube channel. And he was talking about the projects that he was doing. And the project that he was doing at that particular time was this Datsun 260Z from Skeletrix, one of the old classic ones. And I said, oh, I've always wanted one of those cars. I've just never gotten round to buying one. And he said, well, I've got an absolute stack of them. If you want, I'll give you one for free. And you can put it on your channel at some point and do something with it. So I said, are you sure? Yep, no problem. So that was really cool. So the next meeting, he gave me this Datsun 260Z. And it's going to make a really nice project. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm going to do to it. But I'll do something with it at some point. It does run. It runs really, really nicely. So that's a little project for a future video. Don't know when. I don't know what I'm going to do. But it's a really nice gesture from Phil. So thank you, Phil. At some point, I'll do something with this car. Okay, again, not exactly a mail call, but as one person joins our club, another person left our club. So there's a guy in our club that joined a few months ago, and I gave him a lot of help finding some competitive racing cars. And he decided that rally racing wasn't really for him. And he decided to leave the club and asked me to sort of dispose of all the cars for him and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So which I did, because I'd given him a lot of help finding his cars for him when he was racing with us. And as a token of his appreciation for the help that I'd given him and for helping him disperse all the cars after he decided to give up racing, he actually gave me this particular Skeletrix Aston Martin. Now, I absolutely love this car. And I've been looking at buying one myself for a long time. And I was always waiting to find one with all the mirrors and everything else. I didn't want to pay full price for it. I was looking for a used one with all the little bits and bobs still on it. And I couldn't really find one at a sensible price. But then Ian gave me this one. Now, okay, so it is missing all its bits and bobs. But it hasn't cost me anything. And it's also in really, really good condition apart from the missing bits. So what I intend to do is make some more aerials, buy the wing mirrors, and put a new rear spoiler on it and turn it into something very, very usable. I don't suppose I'm going to turn it into a fire-breathing monster. I don't know if I could be bothered to go that far. But I certainly would like to turn it back into a very nice, attractive slot car with all its little bits and bobs on it. And then enjoy it going around the track for what it is. I think it'll be a nice little project. So it's always nice to have something that's not a full-blown racing car. And these do really look quite stunning models. So that'll be quite a nice little project to do as a little sideline. A little bit of a light-hearted sort of restoration, if you will. Now, finally, we get on to a genuine what turned up in the mail. This turned up in the mail. Now, the Toyota GT1 is probably, well, almost definitely, my most favourite Formula C car of all time, and probably many other people as well. And it's only been a matter of time before I actually got one of these kits in to turn it into a slot car. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but here she is, finally. A 1/24th scale, Tamiya Toyota GT1. Now this is going to be a fabulous slot car, and I can't wait to get building this one. So I'll just show you the contents of the box. There's not a lot in this kit, to be perfectly honest with you, but it's all perfectly formed. So there's your body. It's a two-part body in white plastic, as you can see. Very, very nicely detailed, as you would expect Tamiyas to be. And then we've got the tyres that it comes with. Now these are actually rubber tyres, but again what I'll do is I'll change these into PU tyres, and then I can actually use these as masters for the actual build. And then we have some white parts and a few chrome parts. There's not a lot of engine detail to this, so there's not wildly detailed, but there's enough. So we got the seat and the other bits and bobs in there, the brake discs, and then we have some exhaust, some little bits of radiators and whatnot in chrome. Obviously we have the glass, and then we have the black parts, and here they all are here. Quite difficult to show on this camera really, they're a very large sprue. But really, really important, or most important really for slot car perspective, is this chassis. Now that chassis there completely lends itself to turning into a slot car. It's just a complete gift as far as slot cars go. There's so much room back here for activities and loads of room up front for a guide. It's just begging to be turned into a slot car. And we can see the wheels here. Not sure how all this goes together yet, but I'm sure it'll become obvious when I get round to doing it. And then we have the water slide transfers. Actually, they're actually in a packet, so I can't really get them out. But they're going to look pretty damn cool as well. It's the Zent version with the SO on the front as opposed to the Marlboro colours. But that's absolutely fine by me. So there we are. One last look at the body before I put it away. Now, I'm not sure when I'm going to get round to building this. But as the saying goes, all good things come to those who wait. So there we are. That's my little pile of stuff this week in the mail. Sort of. So there it is. All the little things that I've had delivered in the post this week for projects in the future. So if you've enjoyed this sort of content, maybe you'll subscribe. And if you could hit the little bell button, that would be awesome. So until the next time, thank you very much.